Welcome, everybody, to the first ever video episode of the Spawn Room podcast. I am your host, Rachel Olsen Cooper. Most of you know me as Crunk at WJ or Crunk across the internet spaces. Today will be the first of what will hopefully be many video versions of the Spawn Room podcast, but if you missed the first audio episode, make sure that you check out thespawnroom.net and look for the article titled Finding Balance in Gaming and Fitness. So back in July, I wrote an article about some of the similarities between esports and traditional sports, specifically in youth sports. And one of the organizations that I had talked about is an organization called XP League, which is a youth esports organization that tries to follow a model that's similar to how kids are taught when it comes to organized youth sports. So I really wanted to dive in a little bit more about the XP League, as a lot of parents may not know what it is, but it could be a great way to get their children into an organized sport, if you will, where they may not normally show the eagerness to be a part of a traditional sport. So with me today, I have Jacob Smith. Jacob is the area coordinator for the XP League in Dallas, and thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. So first, tell me a little bit about yourself and your journey with esports.
Yeah. So, as you said, my name is Jacob. I've been in esports since early college internships. I did an internship for the United States Esports Association, and then I went more to like the gaming side and did an internship for Cool Math Games, and then from there, that's when I found XP League. I did a little bit of coaching, and now I'm the area coordinator. And I've been that for actually about a year now, and it's been a really cool experience.
Great. So whenever you were doing that through school and whatnot, did you play, or were you mainly just like on the coach and on like the background side of things?
So very primarily on the coach and background side. Briefly, for my last semester of college, I was a sub for our junior varsity Rocket League team for UT Dallas. But other than that, it's been primarily on the back end.
Okay, cool. Okay, so then for those who don't know, could you tell us a little bit more about what XP League is and how you became involved?
Yeah, so XP League is essentially modeled after traditional sports programs, but it's for esports with a variety of different games, including Fortnite, Valorant, Overwatch, Apex, Rocket League, Minecraft, Roblox, a ton of different options for whatever your child may be interested in, and essentially looks to model an esports league after a traditional sports league. There are coaches, coordinators, and locations compete against each other in weekly matches during the season, and then there's an off season, and then it starts back up again. And I think this model is a really great way to make esports really easily digestible, both for parents, but also for the kids as well, because it's something they're already used to. Me personally, the way I first got introduced to it was I actually just saw an Instagram ad for the North Dallas location. And so I did a little bit of coaching for them initially. And then a year later, when I had more marketing experience under my belt, I joined as an area coordinator for the North Dallas location, and I've been doing that ever since.
Cool. So you kind of explained a little bit about how that the model works as far as traditional sports goes. Can you dive in a little bit more? Like, what would like a student or a player, I guess in this case, kind of find on like a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis of what they're going to be doing that's going to help take them to the next level in the way of esports?
Yeah. So unlike a lot of different esports tournaments and things, we actually have weekly practices along with our weekly matches during the season, and in the off season, we still hold those practices. And during these practices, we have individual activities as well as team activities where they're getting coached and they're getting practice building up their skills, both in game and also like soft skills outside of the game. Things like teamwork, leadership, communication, all of those things are very heavily emphasized because not only are they important to succeed within the game, but they're also very important, of course, in just the rest of your life. And so we really want to build on those and help these kids develop skills that will translate beyond just esports.
Okay. So what's the response been like from the students and the players, like, especially because, you touch on, trying to build those life skills. And I had talked with somebody in the past who runs another organization that kind of does the same thing. And he said that, it can come down to, little things like reminding, like you're going to like a big event and there's a lot of people around, reminding a child that they need to put on deodorant, little things like that. So like how's the response from the students, that you're not only necessarily trying to coach them in gaming but also in life?
Yeah, I mean, so one thing I think the students really enjoy it. I think gaming can often be something people do that is lonely. When you play by yourself at home, you may not have any friends that play the same games as you, and so XP League offers a way for you to make those connections and make friends and build relationships, even if you can't play, let's say, like traditional sports. Additionally, I've seen a really good response in terms of how to communicate with each other. I think gaming is also known to sometimes be a little toxic,
A little.
where people, yeah, just a little bit. People can be rude to each other, especially because there is that distance between the two people that are communicating.
Mhm.
You may never see that person again or interact with that person again. So it's
Yeah.
really easy to fall into the trap of being toxic and letting your emotions get the best of you in the moment. And so I think putting like faces behind the people they're interacting with, even if they don't actually see them in the moment, I think that really helps teach them that they do need to be respectful of the people they're playing with and create like a healthy, beneficial environment for everybody involved.
So now, currently, are the students like in a space altogether, or are they just currently playing online?
So initially, we did have a few students that would come in to our facility, but as of late, a lot of our players have been online. For instance, one of our players can't come to North Dallas location because he lives in Austin, and so
Uh,
obviously that's a bit of a drive.
yeah.
But of course, it still feels like he's right there with us when we're playing the games. He's still in it in the moment. I know that he's playing with our other players outside of our practices and matches during the
Okay.
rest of the week. And
Yeah.
so it's really cool to see them form those relationships that otherwise wouldn't exist.
So whenever you do things like that, and it like just kind of in the online space, so do they do things kind of like what we are, where we're on this Discord call and can essentially see each other? Is it the same type of thing where they're like in a call, like on video with each other, so that they can actually like see each other? And does it help with the interactions at all?
Occasionally, yes, we have done that. But a lot of the times it is just audio in game. Sometimes we'll just sit like in the lobby of Fortnite, for instance, and just
Mhm.
talk. Not everything has to be while you're playing. Sometimes it's great to have conversations
Yeah.
just with them. And I think that helps not only build the relationship, but also in game, I think that helps them as well. Not everything has to be all about like mechanical skill or how well you performed in terms of like your aim or anything like that. I think a
Mhm.
lot of it is your mentality, your attitude going in, and I think that has shown in our results.
Okay, great, great. So I know that the Dallas chapter of the XP League is a little bit newer. You guys have been around for how long?
So I think we started up when I joined, so basically about a year now.
Okay. Okay. So what has been the response from the community and the schools? Like, has any of the schools like partnered with you yet? Has it just been kind of word of mouth? Like, how exactly have you been able to build up your space of students, and how's that response been in general from the community?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty good. It's been mostly word of mouth so far. We haven't partnered with any schools, but it's been really cool to see so much of like a positive response in terms of people really enjoying what we're doing and coming back season after season to keep doing it.
Cool. So, what about the parents? So, I know that a lot of parents, in my travels of doing this, that there's a lot of parents that say that they would rather have their kids outside playing and be involved in traditional sports. So, are the parents starting to warm up to the fact that this could actually be similar, especially if their child either just doesn't show an interest in traditional sports, or maybe they can't? Maybe they have something that's keeping them from being physical in a traditional sport. So what's the parental response been to all of this?
Yeah. So you mentioned players that may not be able to play traditional sports. And we do actually have one of those players on our team. And it's been really cool to see how he's essentially been able to have an almost equal experience, but through esports.
Mhm.
and see him grow as a person. He's been with us now for about 6 months, and it's really cool to see how his interactions have changed, how he's been more lively, and become really good friends with all of our players that, again, he never would have been able to interact with
Yeah.
otherwise. In terms of other parents, I mean, I have players that do play traditional sports as well. One of my players, he not only is competing at a very high level in Fortnite, he's also on his high school football team and also
Hmm.
does competitive dance.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it, I think a lot of people view it as an either or,
Yeah.
when in reality, I think it's just one more thing that your child is able to do and has the option for. And I don't see why we need to pick and choose.
Yeah. That's so awesome to hear really in both stories because like I know, kids from growing up and even like, doing teaching and other things, seeing kids that, they try so hard that they want to be a part of, that traditional sport, but they physically can't do it or maybe even mentally can't do it. So like hearing that, like I literally got goosebumps as you were talking about the first kid, because like it's great to see that gaming can do things like that it can bring out, whether it's, socially, physically, mentally, that option for a child to still have, that experience of socialization that they may not get because they can't do a traditional sport. But like at the same time, I was the kid who played sports, but then was also in the band and played video games, that I was, the one that was all over the place. So it's great to also hear that kids aren't just picking one and that they are still trying to, be out there and be active. And that actually leads into my next question. So because you're doing a lot of this online and remotely and whatnot, is there anything that you're doing that you're able to teach these kids as far as keeping their mental and physical health in top shape?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing is we are still encouraging them to do things that aren't playing the game. Um, I think it is easy, especially if you're competing,
Mhm.
to just play all the
Yep.
time. Like you just want to get better. So
Just
that's how
want
you
to
get better.
grind 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. But even if you are doing a traditional sport that is active, I mean, it's impossible to do that. You can't constantly be doing it over and over again because you're going to see diminishing returns in terms of how good you get, and you're
Mhm.
going to burn yourself out. So I
Yeah.
think encouraging them to not play the game all the time, or if they do want to play something, play a different game. Work a different muscle, get kind of break
Right.
out of that like doing the same thing over and over again so that you're able to kind of get a bunch of different experiences, but also not get just like burned down. Because
Right.
I know personally, like it's really easy, especially if I was doing something, even just a couple hours every single day. It's really easy to kind of just fall into like the monotony of it. So to break that up, change it up, get them, outside, get them drinking plenty of water, stretching, all that kind of stuff is really good as well.
Good. Good. So are there any plans in the future to have any in-person events that would, try to get everybody into one place, whether it's, going to a tournament or maybe even like, playing an online tournament, but, this is going to be, hey, we're going to tell you like months ahead of time, we're going to have this online tournament so that everybody can make their travel plans. Like, so like, what do you have going on in the future in the way of that?
Currently, we don't have anything like that in the works. Uh, yeah, sorry, but yeah, we
No,
just
it's
don't
fine.
have anything like that set up or anything.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious just because like you said, I know that a lot of this is online and sometimes they want to try to get everybody together. And I know that it's hard, especially
Yeah,
with that distance from Austin. So, but
yeah.
yeah, I was just kind of curious to see if there was anything that was going to be coming up. So, is there anything that you have coming up that would allow parents to essentially like come in, or is there anything that you plan to try to get more people in and even see the facilities, even if you're doing a lot of things online, but see the facilities, learn more about what XP League is rather than just hearing it from word of mouth, like whether it's, seminars or, hey, let's have a community night, like anything like that, just so that parents can kind of learn more.
So one of the things we are planning on doing is for next month, before the winter season kicks off, we are going to try and have an open house so that during our one of our practices, parents and new potential players can come in and get to practice with our teams, see what it's all about, and see it in person before they sign up, just so that they get that experience. And if they do decide they want to participate in person, they know what it's like, rather than just joining it online. You don't really get the same feel for it.
Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. Do you have like a time frame yet, or is it still like just something you're thinking about? You know? Okay.
Yeah. It's just something we're planning.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, no worries. So if parents are currently interested in more information, or even students are interested in more information right now, where can they go in order to learn more about XP League and what you guys are about?
Yes, if you are interested in more information, you can go to northdallas.xpl.gg. So northdallas.xpl.gg. There, just fill out a contact form. Let us know what you're interested in, whether that's playing, coaching, anything like that. And then, I actually will reach out with more information, and then we can get you set up with everything.
Awesome. And I'll make sure that I put that link in the description of the video, and then I'll actually also put that up on the video itself so that people can see it in super big font on the video, as well as in the description below, so that people can go directly to the link if they want more information. So thank you so much, Jacob, for coming on to the show today. I really do appreciate it. That is going to be all for the Spawn Room podcast. You can find all of my past articles and video at, again, thespawnroom.net. And that's all one word, thespawnroom.net. And you can also follow us on Twitter at _SpawnRoom. And you can find me on Twitter at Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch. Basically pick a social platform, and I'm probably there at CrunkNWJ. That's N as in Nancy, WJ. Thank you again for watching and listening, and we will see you next time on the Spawn Room Podcast.